I'm excited to spend the next 9 minutes with you discussing social power and leadership. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. My name is Paula Alvarez, and this presentation was developed in partial fulfillment of the course EDD 834, Creating Strategic Change That Lasts at Aspen University. This presentation on leadership and social power will provide answers to 3 of your most important questions about leadership and social power. 1. Are you leveraging your social power to get the results you want? 2. How are the leaders in my agency leveraging their social power to get outstanding results? And 3. What about that alpha dog concept? John Maxwell is an American author and pastor who is quoted by Casulo 2012 as saying, "Leadership is influence." In their textbook, Lee and Maynard use a quote from Cicero, the Roman orator. Quote, "If you want to persuade me, you've got to think my thoughts, feel my feelings, and speak my words." Page 77. The quote on the screen from John Maxwell illustrates Cicero's point in modern language. His quote is, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." This statement applies to most people in most situations because, as Alvarez 2017 stated in one of her discussion posts, quote, "Everyone wants to be loved, included, accepted, and treated with respect. These are universal truths." By attentively and reflectively listening, we can hear what the another person thinks, feels, and wants. After carefully listening, we reflect to the other person what we have heard to be sure that we understand. When we communicate reflectively, we show that we are listening and we demonstrate that we really want to understand the other person's viewpoint. By showing this respect for others, we give them the opportunity to hear our side of the story as well. Ask yourself this question. Are you leveraging your social power to get the results you want? If you know the 5 sources of social power, then you can influence others more effectively. Raven and French published their original statement on the basis of power in 1959. According to Raven's article in 2008, he and John French originally defined social power as a change in the belief, attitude, or behavior of a person, the target of influence, which results from the action of another person, an influencing agent. They believed that a leader could use social power to influence change. The bases of social power are legitimate power, coercive power, reward power, expert power, and referent power. We will be discussing each of these types of power in the following slides. According to Raven, 2008, legitimate power is the result of the individual or follower understanding that a leader can require a specific behavior. There are many examples of legitimate power throughout our society. This graphic represents the legitimate power of a law enforcement officer to enforce established laws. Legitimate power is recognized in our society. A supervisor or manager has legitimate power by virtue of his or her position in an organization. A frequently used quote in leadership guides is, quote, "Managers light a fire under people while leaders light a fire in people." Coercive power requires surveillance and warns of negative consequences if the follower does not meet required standards of performance. Negative consequences can include negative performance evaluations, unwanted job assignments or transfers, demotions, and termination. Employees that are held to a standard and coercively motivated may hide their noncompliance behavior. Employees often feel resentful toward managers who use a coercive style. When a manager or leader has a high need for power, he may be more likely to use coercive power than other types of power. Whatever. Reward power is similar to coercive power. The manager or supervisor has the ability to reward desired performance and productivity outcomes. Rewards can include wage increases, promotions, employee of the month or of the minute, as in this cartoon, and flexible work schedules. In order to use power, surveillance is necessary. However, unlike coercive power, surveillance, employees will voluntarily present their successes to the manager or leader. Knowledge is power. Expert power. Casulo, 2012, defines expert power as, quote, the power to influence through sharing knowledge, information, or expertise, on page 102. Indeed, knowledge is power. Followers believe that the manager or leader has valuable knowledge, skills, or abilities that the follower can learn. A leader who has a strong need for achievement may be more likely to use expert power. A leader who wants to use expert power might prove his or her knowledge, skills, and abilities to followers through self-promotion by displaying diplomas, degrees, certifications, and so on. Referent power. A leader can use referent power by role modeling when his or her followers want to identify with the leader in some way. According to Raven, 2008, a leader must ingratiate and establish commonality with followers. Referent power is a socially dependent power, but does not require surveillance. According to Casulo, 2012, quote, referent power is the ability to influence others through charisma and personal acceptance. Y Scouts No Date lists 10 qualities of a charismatic leader. 1. Extraordinary communication skills. 2. Maturity and character. 3. Humility and the willingness to listen to followers. 4. Compassion, integrity, honesty, and fortitude. 5. Substance, which means talk the talk and walk the walk. Confidence, positive body language, listening skills, self-monitoring, and ongoing self-improvement. You may be asking yourself, how are the leaders in my agency leveraging their social power to get outstanding results? Until the end of November 2017, I had the opportunity to work for an agency that truly values its employees. I resigned from my position because I want to invest more time on my doctorate courses. I'm taking 2 courses this term and plan to continue taking 2 courses until I am eligible to take my comprehensive exams. The agency for which I worked is Mineral Area Psychiatric Rehabilitation Center in Farmington, Missouri. This is Mineral Area's logo. The Mineral Area Community Psychiatric Rehabilitation Center has exemplary leaders. In terms of social power used by our leaders, referent power and reward power are the primary employee motivators. As a reminder, Casulo defines referent power as, quote, the ability to influence others through charisma and personal acceptance. By definition, leaders have to have legitimate, coercive, and reward powers. In our Module 3 assignment, I identified 3 alpha dogs at MACPRC. One of the 3 alpha dogs described does not meet the requirement of having positional power. However, Megan Hartner plays a significant role as a mediator and a communicator between line staff and the 2 positional leaders, the Chief Executive Officer, Vicki Weineck, and the Program Manager, Karen Farrell. All 3 of these leaders communicate effectively, listen intently, lead by example, have unquestionable integrity, and value and respect every employee in the organization. The CEO uses reward power in a positive and motivating manner. The CEO is very generous with all staff and has built-in rewards for staff that are above and beyond average rewards. You and everybody in leadership is asking, what about that alpha dog concept? Casulo 2012 reminds us to pay careful attention to the alpha dog. I searched extensively for additional information other than Casulo's discussion of the alpha dog, but was unable to find additional information regarding the term alpha dog related to leadership qualities. Unfortunately, Casulo does not list references in his textbook. References are generally a jumping off point for me for researching additional studies, concept terms, and ideas. You can think of an alpha dog as the leader of the pack. This graphic or this photograph shows the concept of power in business with a battery pack under this leader's shirt. Characteristics of the alpha dog. The alpha dog has positional authority within an organization. In addition to having authority, alpha dogs are trustworthy and reliably produce sought-after themes. Alpha dogs are leaders who influence people in a corporation and have excellent communication skills. The behaviors and actions of alpha dogs are in sync with the organization's dynamics and goals. Alpha dogs reflect on their personal truths and act on those personal truths and speak with passion and purpose. Observe what alpha dogs don't do. Okay. First of all, alpha dogs must meet the 3 criteria: position of authority, ability to influence others, and the ability to get results. Alpha dogs do not 1. Blame others before looking at their own culpability and responsibility. 2. Focus on their own success or power over the needs of the organization. And 3. Do not refuse to identify and accept responsibility for their errors. This figure 5.2 is copied from page 111 of the Casulo 2012 text and used without permission. The purpose of this diagram is to emphasize the importance of self-reflection and understanding and valuing one's own personal truths. We can learn the behavior and actions of the alpha dog in our organization by careful observation. Casulo provides an alpha dog analysis, also called an ADA, on pages 115 to 118. This exercise helps us observe 2 or 3 alpha dogs in any organization. I use the alpha dog analysis form as one of the tools to identify how leaders in my agency leverage their social power to gain outstanding results. And here you can see the list of references. All of the graphics in this presentation were purchased by me, therefore I do not have citations for the graphics. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and learned.